Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar, and this is the high probability watch list for the week of November 13th. Happy birthday, Dad. It is November 12th. So, we're going to start right off here with stocks, and this is a good watch list for stocks. We had a tremendous start of the month of November, and again, this was kind of expected, in the history analogs and the Trader Almanac. Throughout history, this has always been a very bullish time of the year, the beginning of November. And then the mid-November, we tend to get a little choppy, and then we end November very strong. So this is the first 10 days coming out of November, very strong, extremely strong. And, it's funny just to see how things are just performing almost to the T on a textbook type of thing. You don't usually kind of expect that to happen. Especially with all the moving pieces going on in the background, between what's going on with the wars and inflation and the Fed and now the upcoming government shutdown, strikes, you name it, it seems to have been going on. But the market seems to be on a cruise control, or at least, kind of just attached to this market clock that, it's bad October, great November. We'll see how we go into December and the beginning of the year. It could be a very bullish year. So let's start off. Even though I have Costco up here, we're going to get back to Costco. Let's take a look at the SPX, the NASDAQ, and excuse me. Just getting over my cold. I went on a nice hike today, and that was really nice. Now, you can see a really nice downward channel that's been playing out over the last 4 months. And yes, I've been shying away from stocks until probably the last two watch lists, last 2 weeks. I've been very bullish, and even going into this week, I'm very bullish. Even though we're forecast in a lot of these historical almanacs to have start to kind of get into a very choppy and sideways market, I still see a lot of potential upside here, and we're going to go over why. And if you've been watching the show, we kind of discussed this over the last couple of days. Yes, the daily has been, is up there, but look at the price where we're at on this. And if you have any of George Lane's old text work, and I should actually print something on here. I don't have it in front of me. But there's, when he talks about stochastics and being overbought and oversold, there's a big difference between being overbought and being extremely bullish. They like to say that 20 is oversold, anything above 80 is overbought, until you get above that 95 area where you start to really get pinned up there near 100, or we get down there pinned near 0, and that's a sign of extreme strength. And as you can see right here, let me get my mouse. We're up here. We've gotten up here to a point where we have never really, we're at 99. And before we were actually, let's say 99, I would say the high here at 99. We're at about 93 right now. And we were up around 99. And we've never really, once we got up there before, we continued to rally. This one we didn't get up there. We just got over 80 and it kind of pulled back. This one got over to 80 and we pulled back. But this one, we're up to 90 again. Like we were back here, and like we were back here, we rallied and we rallied. So this is very bullish, and not to say that the obvious big flag looking you in the face, right? This huge pullback flag that, could be seen from space. Looks pretty good. Now, of course, we were all over this area down here. We had trend lines, we had oversold levels, we had everything. So now the big ticket item here. Let's go to the weekly chart and look at this. Weekly is just starting to move up aggressively. And when we get that weekly moving up aggressively, those candles also go up. Now, this is the second week in a row that we just kind of got through. Really the third, if we consider that. Well, we closed out on the lows on this candle here. So this candle right here, we did close on the lows, and then we kind of gapped up. So we can't really count that as an up candle right there. So up candle and second candle. And look where we are. I mean, we're in a very bullish phase right here. Very strong. Momentum, maybe we get a pullback. Maybe we get some chop here. Maybe there's some news event. But I'm liking everything about this. All right, and that's the S&B. The Nasdaq and NDX, it's going to be basically the same. Beautiful pattern here. Look at the weekly, very strong, perfect textbook channel. Pull breakout, bigger flag on the weekly. You know, flag, move higher, flag, move higher, flag, move higher. This is kind of a more, long drawn out flag here, but still a very good one. And you can see us moving higher. And then we'll take a look at the Dow, INDU. Oops, I don't know how Kind got up there. INDU. The Dow Industrial has been actually, this is the weekly chart. And again, you can see us starting to turn back up here. And we don't really have much of a downward slide here. It's been actually showing some good relative strength. We had this little channel here that we kind of broke out of and pulled back a little, but really just chopping around. So maybe we get some upside here and really start to take off here. You know, this is not that far from all-time highs. We're not that far for all-time highs here. And then I'm going to go and just take a look at the Russell right now. I always forget I always look at the ETF here. The IWM. We'll just look at the Russell here. And we have two kind of boxes, and I call these Darvis boxes. I put these in a few weeks ago because we were hanging on some, the support line, and I said, we'll break down into that second box on the below. We might see something. We kind of held on to it. And this is that box right there I was talking about. There we go. There. All right. So again, we have the Russell actually starting to turn back up. We've been consolidating sideways. It did pull back last week, though. We did pull back where the overall other two markets actually held up pretty good. So, we'll see what happens with the Russell. Not making any calls on the Russell. I do like the Dow. I do like the S&P right now. The Nasdaq. The Russell did look a little weak last week. So that being said, some of the events that might be coming up, let's take a look at those. All right, as you can see, not much happening tomorrow on Monday. But on Tuesday, we have the CPI, which is a big one. Consumer Price Index. That's going to be very important. And then Wednesday, we have the PPI. Thursday, initial claims. Some other things. And I do believe we do have, and I'm looking it up right now. I don't know where our deadline is for the, where's our deadline for the market shutdown is coming up. Let me see. All right, so apparently we have the shutdown. The shutdown set to happen in 5 days next weekend. House Republicans on yesterday, unveiled their stopgap funding bill to avert the government shutdown and set to begin next weekend. But with just 5 days left until the deadline, Congress has little room for error. Just 2.5 weeks into the job, Speaker Michael Johnson opted to go with a two-step continuing resolution, or CR, over a more typical funding extension, or kick the can down the road, I like to call it, extension covering the entire federal government. The untested funding approach is aimed at appeasing far-right agitators in his GOP conference who despise CRs, and the House is expected to vote as early as Tuesday to give members 72 hours to read the text of the bill, according to two people familiar with the matter. The plan does not include budget cuts or aid for Israel. All right, so again, we should have some votes going on, and that probably will affect the market a little. We'll be sure to follow that live if we do happen to see that happening live in front of us. So we could go into a little bit more. Just know that there's shenanigans are going to happen, and everyone's going to do. But that's our next big event, and that's next weekend. So we have this whole week to kind of focus on that as we get closer and closer. So let's take a look at some of the stocks. I do have a nice list of stocks, and the theme this week is doing what's right. You know, it's easy to spot strong stocks. It's much harder to get into stocks and looking for big reversals and bounces and stuff. So we're going to look at, I have about 20 stocks I'm going to go over with you. We're going to go over them kind of fast, but all of them are worth looking at. So let's start that off right now. All right, this stock has potential for an explosion. It looks like a recent IPO back in 2019. It chopped around for a while. It got all the way down to $1.33, then came all the way back up to $15 to $18 and closed right at the high here. So what's great about a stock like this is what we call the blue skies above. There's no price history above this. And when this breaks this level, which we're kind of trying to do right now, I kind of put it just an average, but we could put this up to what prices? I can't even see that. That's 19. We'll call it 1950. It's at 1850 now. So a break at that 1950. Let's put a chart. Let's put a alert in there. So we want to get an alert on this. 5-minute alert. Let's actually. Yeah, that's good. So this thing is going to pop up on our screens when we do break out this, and this could go, in a big way. I haven't dug down to see what it is. I'm a chartist, so when I see a major breakout like this potentially happening, just the momentum alone of this triggering to all-time highs will bring a lot of volume in it, and being no overhead resistance and no overhead, areas to, this thing could really take off. So I would be on this real fast on a break at that 1950. Don't get whipsawed. You have to be in and out fast. We don't know if this is going to go to $30, $40, or go to $20 in a reverse. But it should get a lot of volume off of 1950. So that's the one thing I'd be watching. So put it on your radars and watch it. I might, jump in, and if we get the alert early, I think we could take a shot on this. All right, waste management. Again, quality names. Look at this one, consolidating at the highs. Yeah, it's $171, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to go much higher. Had a nice pullback. Again, a little extended, but it's waste management. You're not going to get rid of garbage. Garbage is always going to be here. So, and again, you can see the high here. So let's put another alert on this one. I'm just going to put an alert because we're going to know to look at it. So that alert's right at 173-ish, 173.80. And again, that's not the all-time high, but that takes us off of that. That takes us to this pivot high here. Semiconductor index. I wanted to show it to you because look at nice bullish move. We all like the semis. That's important that the semis go and tech goes. So it looks very bullish, just like the NASDAQ, just like the S&P does. DraftKings. I like the DraftKings. All I hear about is sports gambling now, and it's been trending up nice. It seems to be had this nice little pullback right here. And, it's just starting to move up here. It's $34. Came from $10. Something about it. I put it on my list. It's very bullish. I think you're going to get some upside on this. If you like the DraftKings, I agree with you. Kroger on support right here. It's just starting to move around. I put it here because of it's off the 200. I don't know if it's something I'm really going to be into. I'm going to pass on it right now. We went over that. Apple. We always look at Apple. And again, we're looking at some of the weekly charts here, but let's just break these down to the daily too. I don't want to. Here's the weekly on Apple. This was too crazy. This was a perfect wedge pattern. I mean, this is the one that you put up on your wall, and you know, it's just perfect. It's a perfect angle. It's the perfect area. It's what we call a 200 breakdown channel line bounce. When you have an underlying channel line underneath or a trend line underneath the 200 caused by two pivots, and you break down, when you bounce off of it, it's right back up to the 200. In this case, through that and out and away. We put that arrow there a couple, last week because I expected this one to continue, and it did. And where does it go? It should continue. I mean, maybe it's going to pull back a little, but this is a really good breakout right here. Google, the same thing. Quality names. Pass on this one. I don't know why it's on my list. Oh, this one, don't know why it's on the list. Somebody's snuck on here because I had them. Why are these on my list? Hold on a second. These are not the ones. I think I jumped my list. All right, here we go. Unity software. I had an order in at $20 on the gap down. It missed it by, $1. And it bounced really hard. We looked at it last week after earnings. I just, was doing other things. What a big reversal. Look at the steep divergence here. I mean, this thing has everything written as a reversal. It's such a big move. And I like it. I was hoping to buy it on the pullback. It was the first time I liked it since we liked it to wherever we liked it the last time. And we're coming closer to that holiday season. We're coming closer to the Apple Vision Pro goggles being released. And when they get released, this stock will probably move up pretty aggressively. Now, if they get delayed, this stock will get hit. So, big reversal. Let's circle that. Let's circle this reversal. I liked it here. We got a little pop. Got hit on the earnings. We tried to buy it, but we do like it here. All right. So I did pick up some of this. I picked up some of this last week. ALB, very close to that trend line. Got a little pop. Now it's drifting. It's not performing yet. It definitely isn't. There is a little trend line underneath this. There's no sign of a divergence. So I am still holding. I usually tend to get like 20, 30, 40 shares on this. I think I got 40 shares on this. Maybe even less. And we're right in that right here. So we're not really down on it. But, typically I like to get these things going. There's no divergence or anything. There's no, other than being oversold and being in it back here. And looking at when the last time I was in it was 171. And we took it up here. And there was a lot of insiders. Now looking at down here, and I was like, well, if they liked it at this price, they'll probably like it at this price. All right, so Yeti making the list for this week. First time, long time. I'm not a big fan of Yeti. I actually have a Yeti cooler, and it's the greatest thing in the world. But how do you deny a divergence like this? And what do you say the divergence is? It's right here. It's smack in the face right there. And it has just starting, so we're not late on this. Sometimes we'll get a divergence like, oops. Let's go back. Sometimes we'll get a divergence like here. That was a nice divergence. Look at that, right? You see that? Low, lower low, low, higher low. I mean, this is, that's a textbook divergence on that. And look at the nice move off of that. And we go back in the history here. Yeah, there was a divergence back here. Not much going on. It's kind of a divergence here in the pop. But this looks like a nice divergence here. It's right above the 20 line. It's a steep rotation. Even this angle is steep, but that nice, almost a Nike check mark here. So everything looks pretty good here on Yeti. So just based off the divergence. Pass on this one. Some of these are on here and they shouldn't be on here. Pass, pass, pass. So net, all right, net. Net has pulled back. I think this week we're going to get back into net. We did have net into earnings. We took that off. And now I said, well, we're going to pull back to the 20 period moving average. And we got that on Friday. So this is where we are. It is starting to pull back here a little. So I wanted to see, I didn't want to chase it all the way up here, or at least stay in it. I want to get out and then say, well, we'll get back in on the pullback. Will it pull back a little bit further into a week that maybe doesn't have the follow through? Do we like to get this pulled back a little bit more? Yes. Where do we want to see this? I mean, maybe a little bit lower, but not much. I think you can start scaling in here, and a scaling process would be pretty good. Good company, nice long base. So you're probably in a good position here. I tried to break out. This is the first flag, and if we flag out and start to go, then it's gone. Like back here, flag, go, flag, go. This looks like a perfect flag. All right, so that's what we're looking at right there. That was the flag pole right underneath it. That big explosive move away from the 20 period moving average. And now we're flagging out. So that's our flag. And then we want to pull into the flag. We want to buy that one. Looks great. So definitely on our list. I'm going to actually put an alert on this one right here so I know to get in it. I want to get in it. I don't want to forget about this. So I put the alert in there. Bloom Energy. I have this on my list. It looked like a divergence setting up here. It turned back up from here to here. It popped, it dropped, pass, pass, Kimberly-Clark, pass. Oh, Pfizer making a list now. Pfizer is like it suffers from stock rot, right? You just can't get out of its own way, and I don't like the Pfizer here. Hate Pfizer. Never really liked Pfizer. It always goes like this. So, but what I have to show you is, do we have a divergence happening here? Because when Pfizer gives us a divergence, and was there a divergence here? Don't see any divergences in there yet. Nothing, no divergences. So we don't usually get divergences in Pfizer. So, but I'm just starting to watch it here. I was watching this pullback, and I'm going to see if this turns back up at this angle, and if it starts to turn back up, and then we're going to be talking about first time, long time, Pfizer's going to look good for a bounce. We liked it here, had a bounce. We liked it here, had a little bounce. These were because it got oversold each time. Liked it here, got a bounce. So our timing is good on this, but it doesn't. Excuse me. It doesn't. It doesn't, maintain or its trend, and it turns over quickly. I want to circle it, and we'll put a line down here. So if we have a move above this, we'll get alerted to it. And if we do get a move above it, then we're going to know that this might turn back up. So Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, kind of the same thing. I'm not a big fan of the Johnson right now. But it is a nice downward channel. Pretty steep channel here. And kind of a double bottom. And look how high we're here. So again, we're looking to see if this starts to turn back up and gives us that higher low and lower low. Even if it starts moving up here and it's not a perfect divergence, it'll be a relative divergence. So just watching it, we want to watch this one. It looks like there could be a divergence setting up. It also was an old coil here too. It looks like a coil. Lots of times divergences come from coils. But we have to pull back and push higher. It looks like it's going to do that. I'm going to circle it here anyway. We like to circle it when we look at it, and then we look back at it, and we know that's what we liked. So let's also put an alert on this. And if we got any of these alerts, I want to send these out as a trade alert. It's going to get sent out as a trade. Any of these things, alerts hit, and I see any divergences, I will send those right out. All right. All right. Visa, very strong, but I'm passing on that. Where's my mouse again? Procter & Gamble, same thing. Verizon, it's actually holding the 200 period moving average, but not a stock that I trade too often, so I'm not getting in it. Home Depot, looking at some names here. So AbbVie, we liked it down here in June and July, and we were looking for that triple bottom. Never got down there, but now we're almost back down there. So 135. They lost a couple patents, to generic drugs, and that's why it got this hit from here all the way down, and then it had a nice bounce. Now we're almost right back down there, and I'm almost looking at this as a divergence. So again, I'm really looking at this right here. If that could turn back up, we already have the low to compare that low. This low and this low was a divergence from this low to this higher low to this low to this lower low. Nothing really went with that. Pushed up against the 20 and then rolled over. So if we get a running divergence here, the second divergence is the second mouse gets the cheese, and that would be a good setup. So just keep an eye on that one. Nothing on Allstate. Boeing, I have it down, not interested. All right, so here's John Deere and Caterpillar. This is kind of, it's starting to turn back up here. You see how it turned back up? This is what we're looking, and we got down real close to the recent low. Not exact, really almost to the closing prices. See the closing prices above, right to there, right to there. This is the only one we kind of gapped down and closed down here. But all the others we kind of closed above it. And this came down and same kind of just closed right at that same level of the 1, 2, 3, 4. And if this was just kind of a flush out, then this is going to be the real low, and this is a high level divergence. I actually like the Deere here a lot based off of this high level divergence. Let's go back to the Deere here. This really looks good. It's one of the best bets of the week. And I like it. Nice channel, nice support, nice consolidation, recent highs right above us. I mean, this thing is pulled back enough to make another run at it, and we're having that relative divergence telling us when that run is about to happen. This is absolutely a fantastic one. Stop should probably, be a little bit more lean. Don't get. This is a big stock. It's $300 something. I don't see everyone taking this, but this is a strong divergence, and we'll come back and we'll just kind of hopefully remember me talking about this. Because we'll come back and we'll mention it, and we'll see where it goes from this. For the option players, I'm not going to break down the options. You know what you're doing on that. The signal here is very strong, and I expect to break out of this channel. So at least we're going to 176. That's 173, 177. The 50's up 183. So 10 points. I think we can get 10 points in this in a week. Maybe this week, maybe next week. Maybe we chop, but 10 points is going to come. That's our level. I like the divergence here. I think it's the best bet of the week. One of the best bets of the week. I want to write that down here too. Best bet. All right. Target. We started, this was on last week's watch list for a break of 114.90. It never got above that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to move that down. We're going to move it down to 110. So 110.56. Somewhere around there. Target's no longer woke, I heard. So, maybe these things are going to start looking really, really good now. So I circled it, like it. We liked it here, but only on a break of that 114, which we never got. So, this is, now we have to get a little, we want to get a momentum shift before we really, put anything together on this. And when you have a momentum shift, that means this is going to turn back up, and that small little trend line is probably could be seen on your 15-minute chart. Yeah, this trend line right here. There we go. All right, see that nice trend line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to pop right through it. Target this trend line. And I think you probably even get in earlier on that. Let's move this down. Let's move that down to 108. Like it a lot. A lot. So there's a small, you see that small trend line there? So there you have that bigger trend line on top, but you have a real small trend line here. General Mills, not much going on with that. I have a little of it. Hasn't done much. Costco, I just want to point out how strong Costco is, and it's probably one of our best bets too. It's just about ready to break out of this level and make a run to all-time highs. $576. All right, so Palo Alto Networks security system. You see the low, the lower low, the low, the higher low. The rotation back up, we like it today, even though it's back on above that trend line with a divergence. We're not that far. It had earnings. Earnings are behind it. Actually had, I think, good earnings. And you can see all-time high. So, these are mostly strong stocks that are growth stocks. And for swing traders, like this video goes out to, it makes a lot of sense to be in these stocks. Nothing on that. Let me see. We might have gotten, nope, PSA. Let me see. This is something I usually watch. When we stay in a channel like this, when you have a nice channel that's formed, and we break down, what I call when we break down out of a channel where we should bounce, but we break down, we capitulate out of the channel. That's a capitulation move. Volume came up down here. You can see on the volume chart on the bottom. It kind of raised up and then kind of pulled back. Then we raised up a little bit more right here. Excuse me. So whenever we capitulate out of a channel and we push back into that channel, this channel line holds the same integrity it did originally. Whatever happened here was a little aggressive, and it just blew through this. You can see the weakness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Volume came up. It just overshot itself. Then it comes back in, and now it'll hold. I've seen this hundreds of times, people. Hundreds of times. The pullback and that original trend line holds up. So we're right in this right zone. Gotta love this area. It's another big stock, but this is, we're going to have these all marked, and we'll go through them all this week. I'm going to put an alert on that. Just to kind of give us an alert if it does start to move and we're not on top of all these. So Walmart, same thing. Liked it from last week. I said, let's see if we get a pullback. We didn't really get too much of a pullback. Christmas season's coming up. I have a feeling Walmart's going to do real well. CVS, I'm not a fan. I don't know why it's on my screener there. And let's see here. Disney, we got out of Disney on that pop, and I'm happy about it. And I probably won't go by, and people are like, geez, I'm glad he's over with Disney. We don't have to hear it anymore. Hey, it worked. And I think that's about it. Let me see. Oh, the MDT. I was looking at this MDT as we're getting down to what's called a relative divergence level. It almost gets down to the lows right here. But we start to reverse. And you can see there's a little reversal candle here. This big kind of tail right there. And we had that history of that. I was looking back, I think, on this chart. Was I looking on this chart for divergences? Maybe not. Maybe it was a different chart. But anyway, I'm watching this. I just like how this is lagging up here. If we start to turn back up, this is already a relative divergence and starts moving back up. And that's it. That's the list for today. That's a good list. So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you wrote down the notes. There's a lot of information there. I'm sorry it's getting out Sunday evening. Friday, I did some coaching. It took most of the night, so I couldn't get it out Friday. Saturday and Sundays, super busy with family activities. So Sunday night, I tend to get this stuff out. So I apologize if I didn't get your emails. I'm going to get to the emails next. I'll have them done by Monday morning. If you're waiting for codes and stuff, I appreciate it, your patience on that. All right, so that's it. Let's move on. Let's send this out. Have a great evening, and I'll catch you in the markets tomorrow.